Have you ever had a near-death experience? Or perhaps someone you know may have had a near-death experience? Well, if so, we would love to hear your story and have you as a guest on our podcast. For more information, visit NDE.world. Again, that's NDE.world. We would love to hear your story.
Welcome to the NDE World Podcast, where we explore the magical, mystical, and spiritual world of near-death experiences. And now, Ashton Lewis and Daphne Lynn.
Welcome back to the NDE World Podcast. I am your host, Ashton Lewis, and my lovely hostess, Miss Daphne Lynn. Hello, Daphne. How are you today?
Hello. Thank you for the introduction. I am doing well, and I love the way you brought that out. Hello, instead of good morning, good evening, because we're learning time is non-existent.
Yeah, true.
So, hello is a proper greeting.
Yeah, well, also, it makes more sense because, especially here in the technology internet age, you can say good morning to all, but someone could be listening at nighttime. They could be listening in the evening. They could be listening after lunch. So that those little time descriptions, I've been trying to kind of keep them out and keeping it generic. So yeah, so hello or how's it going or whatever. Yeah, it does make sense.
I love it. Love it.
Well, we've got a really good subject or topic today that a lot of people talk about, and a lot of people, they may not have a full understanding of it, but it does make a big difference in your life, and it does cause a lot of division in the reality of the big picture in the real world.
In the ego.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably this is all definitely ego-driven, and we're going to get more into that here shortly. However, the topic of the day is religion and spirituality. What's the difference? Okay, sometimes you may hear people say that, I'm a religious person, or that's a religious person, or I'm actually a spiritual person, or no, they're a spiritual person. So these are terms that we hear, and a lot of us who are in this, level of spirituality, we can talk these things. We understand exactly what we're talking about. However, there may be some people out there that hadn't really stopped and really put these two together, like religion and spirituality, because a lot of them link the two and think they both mean the same. They're in the same realm, however, they're very, very different when you really start looking under a magnifying glass at the difference between religion and so-called spirituality. So any opening comments on that, Ms. Daphne?
Yeah, exactly. I think back to my own experience, and I can only share my experience because everybody's having their own. For me, when I was under the veil of religion, I didn't like the term religion, so I always said, even when I was under that veil, that I was a spiritual person, not a religious person. So I had a distinction about me even at that time.
Well, then let me ask you, for an interruption, if I were to ask you, you say you're a spiritual person, you're more spiritual than you are religious. What does that mean? How would you explain that to me if I was, trying to make sense of that expression? Because, some people do say that I'm more spiritual than I am religious. What does that mean to you?
To me, that means that I'm not living under the doctrine of a religion. I'm living a more non-constraining life of just the spirit, listening to my spirit, my gut, to guide me rather than a religion telling me this is what I need to do.
Gotcha. Well, let's take a step back and let's start by defining what religion is. Now, I know originally religion was intended for a good thing, to give people a place to gather, to get together and to worship and to, pray and spend time together and share that spiritual, connection with each other and the source.
Right there, you're leading it over to the spiritual. So that's where we should take it.
Exactly.
Instead of being religious.
That starts to take, and that's where religion originally started. However, religion had over the years kind
Being
of,
corrupted.
it's not too good, what it has become.
And going ahead and tying it on in, if you don't mind, with today's NDE topic is religion is a pathway. It is not set in stone that
It's the one and all. It's not.
Exactly.
No religion is the one and all.
Many of these experiencers come back saying that religion does not carry over. It is a pathway only. So on the other side, it is only love. There's no religion, from many, many, many different. Google search NDE, the plus sign, no religion in your as your keywords, and it's going to pull these things up on YouTube that shows you the videos of religion doesn't matter to God.
Yeah, and we hear it time and time and time again in NDEs that we review and have on our show. There is no religion on the other side, and that I want to really stress that theme in today's podcast. Okay, and just really keep that in mind. There is no religion on the other side. Okay, so if there's no religion on the other side, then you need to question, why is it on this side? Okay, what's the purpose of it, and has religion itself been overall, for the most part, beneficial for mankind when you look at its track record? So to begin with, what I'd like to do is let's take a look at the top 5 religions on the earth as we know it. Now, according to ChatGPT, number 1 on top of the list,
Christianity.
2.3 billion followers. Okay, Christianity. Now let's just break that one down right now, okay? Because since that's the biggest one, we're going to look into that, because so many people believe in Jesus and follow the Christian dogma and doctrine and the teachings and things like that. So now when you look at just the actual Christians themselves, like let's break everything down. Okay, Christian is based on the word Christ. Okay, now the word Christ means anointed one, or the Mashiach, or the Messiah. That's where we get the Messiah from. But the anointed one is the Christ. And that's where we get the word Christian. Now, a Christian, which is part of Christianity, the religion, which we'll talk about here in a second, but Christians are those who follow or claim to follow Christ, all right, or believe that a historical person named Jesus Christ was the Son of God, some going as far as even believing that he is God himself, okay? And here's a list of all the different churches and different brands of Christianity and denominations that all follow under this. And again, it says right here that Christianity is the actual religion and message based on the teachings of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, or its beliefs and practices. Christianity is one of the 3 monotheistic religions, which is the worship of only one God. The other 2 are Islam and Judaism, which Islam is number 2 on our list today at 1.8 billion followers. But on the subject of Christianity, now a word to keep in mind is Christendom. Okay, you might have heard it before, Christendom.
If you're a JW, you know what it is, or think you know what it is.
That's right. Now, if you don't know what a Christendom is the world, the quote-unquote world or kingdom of churches claiming to be followers of Jesus Christ. All right? Christendom is simply the whole world of the Christian religions, whether they are true followers or not. If they claim to be a Christian, then they are a part of Christendom. Okay, and all religions make this particular claim. Now, Christology is the actual study of the person, nature, and role of Christ. But speaking of Christendom, I'm going to call out the top Christian religions here and see if you are familiar with any of them. Starting at the top of the list, and this was taken from the most popular, or the most has the most followers, the biggest cult, the biggest religion, down to the smallest. Starting with, guess who's at the top?
J-Dub.
Catholics.
No.
Okay.
Let me get you to pause right there for a second, please. I was thinking of this when you was talking about Christendom, and, I went flashback to when I was a J-dub myself.
Right.
And I remember them saying over and over again, we are no part of Christendom. And thinking back now,
They're admitting
they really
they don't
aren't. They
follow
don't
Christ.
believe
That's what that means.
the deity of Jesus. He was just a man.
Right.
So I get that now, but at the time
Right.
I'm like, wow, they're not part of
But
Christendom.
if you're in that group, it has a whole total different meaning.
It does,
You can't
yes.
see it for what it is because they are very disillusioned, and no disrespect. I'm just speaking from experience.
From experience.
firsthand
Hey,
experience
truth
as
is
well.
truth.
Yeah. That they are the chosen and that everyone else is,
Going to be destroyed.
destroyed. Yeah, and so when you come in to the game with the cops and robbers
Us versus
mindset,
them.
us versus them, then you're starting off on a dualistic mindset. You are separating yourself. So anytime something separates or divides any soul from another soul, now that is religion. That's what religion is. And that's what religion does.
And that's even what the Catholic Church does as well. They say they're the only ones.
Oh, all religions do. All religions do claim that they are the chosen. I had to do some research on that as well.
Oh, God, yes.
Let's go down this list real quick. At
Sure.
the top of the list, the biggest Christian denominations: Catholic, Baptist, the Methodist, Lutheran, Presbyterian, Protestant, Pentecostal, Charismatic, Episcopalian, Anglican, Mormon, Latter-day Saints, Churches of Christ, non-denominational, United Church of Christ, Jehovah's Witnesses, Assemblies of God, Evangelical, Church of God, Seventh-day Adventist, Orthodox, which is the Eastern, Holiness, Church of the Nazarene, Disciples of Christ, Church of the Brethren, Mennonite, Reformed, Apostolic, New Apostolic.
I'm sorry. Can you just thinking about all of these different denominations? I mean, this list is continuing on and
Yeah,
on
I
and
got about
on
10
and
more
on.
to go. Let me call these out and hold that thought. Yeah, because it's pretty mind-blowing when you really think about it.
Yes,
I'd love
oh
to
my
hear your thought. Let me
gosh.
finish these here. That way I can get this taken care of. There's the, where are we at here? Quaker. You heard of
I've heard of them, yeah.
Scientology, Christian Science, Full Gospel, Christian Reform, Independent Christian Church, Foursquare Gospel. There's the Fundamentalists, there's the Born Again, and the Salvation Army. Would you like to take over?
Oh my gosh. I did not realize. I mean, I knew there, and this is just a small list of the different denominations out there. I did not realize there are so many different denominations, and each one of those denominations carries different belief systems. Mm-hmm. So that right there should tell you something
it's
in
not
your
true.
in your core, in your deepest core of cores, that you know something about this is not right.
It's too much division.
Exactly.
And anytime there's a division, you have to question whether or not it's a truth, because truth unites. Spirituality
Exactly. And that's
unites.
what I'm seeing happening with these NDEs. There's so much unity and so many of these
Love
experiencers
and
coming back
connection.
saying the
Nothing
same exact things with different experiences. So that to me has more basis for and validity for my belief system than religion did, because
Right.
it is united. It is that oneness that is spoke of in the Bible to be.
which leans over to the side of spirituality.
Exactly.
See, today's topic is, religion versus spirituality. So, religion pretty much divides, and that's the point. The more you start to look into it, because if it united, then you don't have one group, one religion, and we've learned in our studies that the only one true religion is love.
Exactly.
I'll keep that in mind. So if you want to be a Christian, as long as you're living in love as a Christian and loving your fellow man and loving, all,
Being kind and helping.
then it works, you know. And let me throw in these other few different, the top. I mean, earlier we said the top 5. We mentioned the top 2. First is Christianity, then Islam. Mm-hmm. Number 3 is Hinduism. Has 1.2 billion followers. Buddhism, 520 million followers. And, of course, Sikhism, approximately 30 million followers.
Yeah.
So this is religion These all have different belief systems. They all believe in different things, and there has been wars fought in the name of religion. There has been people murdered
Right.
and slaughtered in the name of religion.
Exactly. The millions of people died for this power to be built up,
Absolutely. So
to instill fear.
fear and power,
Yeah.
And those who control, always remember this, those who control the God, or he who controls the God, controls the people.
Exactly. And even though Buddhism is on that list, from what I understand, and I haven't done a whole lot of research on Buddhism, but Buddhism is more of a way of life.
The
It's
most
not
natural
a
of that
doctrine
group. Just looking at
based.
it list, yes, it's not a religious base, although it's looked at as a religion, but it's more of a way of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And not to say that Christianity is not this, it's just Christianity has become more passive when the actual, the earlier teachers of the way, okay, the Yeshua, the Jesus, the pre-Christian era, these guys taught, how you have the God self, you have the God life in you, and they taught us how to let our light shine, how to treat
Exactly.
others. Everything is within yourself. However, religion has came in and wanted to get in the way, and has successfully gotten in the way between you, okay, and source. So many people think they have to go through a religion. So look, go put on your mask, okay? Baptist, put on your mask. Put the Baptist mask on. You want to be a Jehovah's Witness, put on that J-Dub, the Jehovah's
Put your
Witness
mask on.
mask.
It
Put
doesn't
your mask
matter
on.
which.
Catholic, if you're a Catholic, let's put on your mask. But keep in mind, you are filtering the world through a religion. So understand that religions all are man-made. That's the difference that makes the difference, okay? Every religion can be traced down to a source. Now, something that's misleading is that many people will tell you that that Christianity was based on Jesus himself. Jesus Christ started Christianity, and that's so far from the truth that you can't even really comprehend it. But the point is, Christianity came in years later after the way, in that early movement of the Nazarenes and things like that. But we'll talk about that later. So the point is that religion has a track record of a horrific track record of, like I said, slaughtering and killing and wars and brutality and power and control and fear. That's religion, okay?
That's religion for you. That's not spirituality.
So let's look at the other side of the coin. Now let's take a look at spirituality. Take off your mask.
Throw it to the side.
Yeah, just go chunk it. You don't need it anymore, okay? And let's get to who you are.
You are
Okay.
a spirit connected to source energy. God, if you want to call it God, universe, whatever you choose to call the higher self, the higher power, that's up to you. I'm not here to impose anything on you. I call it source, I call it spirit. I have a different understanding of that being now.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what. Now, if you want to, before we get really into the subject of the spirituality part, why don't we just close the religious part? It kind of ties together on the account you were telling me about earlier. If you don't mind, if you can just read that for me, please, and then we'll jump more into the spirituality, which is more the NDEs, these experiences, and we're going to tie all that together. How these are more spiritual, because there are no religions and there is no religion on the other side. So if
Exactly.
you could read that, this is from
Sure.
an actual account, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
sharing
this
that.
is from an NDE account from Nicole Kerr. This is straight out of her book, and she had amnesia and couldn't remember all the accident and different things from that time, and she started remembering, and this is picking up with that account. She said, along with this excruciating new awareness, I was also holding an incredible memory of life on the other side of death. That place, the place where what many people call angels, had communicated with me and with each other. Looking nothing like mansions in the sky I had learned about in childhood, no streets paved with gold, no St. Peter ushering me through pearly gates. A kindly old man with a white beard had not shown up to fill me in on my test scores in the exam I had been calling my life. And yet I had experienced heaven. I had known myself in a state that not even the word bliss can describe. In that place, that state, I was not standing before God. I was God. And that totally just breaks down the religion and the NDEers from the NDEers perspective. And so many of these NDEers say that there is no religion on the other side, that they are returning to source spirit. They are one. They are
and that is
united.
a common thread. And that's how we know that this is real. And we're talking about, probably 100,000 by now, but it was tens of thousands the last I checked, over 60-something thousand. But we have documented cases of all this stuff. Now, I like how she said in that little part that you read there, because she was heavily indoctrinated by her dad. He was very,
Yes.
very heavy into his religion, and it was more of a force. He pounded it and forced it onto her. And I guess
she was fearful of it.
And so she was more fearful of it. So that affected things as well. But it says that when she got there, she said there was no streets of gold,
Right.
no St. Peter at the Golden Gate. God, that screams Catholic. There's no old bearded man to judge her, and that. But at the same time, she was in heaven.
Exactly. Yeah. Religion did not carry over.
Right. Right.
Religion stops on this side of the veil. So if you want to choose religion as your pathway to the source, the energy, God, whatever you choose to call it, then by all means, go that route.
Go that route as long as it makes you a better person. Okay, if you can find
Exactly.
yourself and you can find God, what you call God, the source, that energy, whatever you want to call it. If you can go through a vessel like Jesus, if that's what it makes, if it makes you, because it took me to all kind of different levels, and brought me so many blessings throughout my life as a youngster. When because I did grow up in the Christian faith, so I did learn a lot of values. I've learned a lot of good things in life that really saved me and protected me in a lot of different areas.
Exactly.
Where, but those things that protected me is not attributed to Christianity or even the Bible itself. The Bible contains wisdom, divine wisdom, that is already built into us as humans, but that same wisdom is in all sacred books out there, okay? So as long as you can take those divine, sacred threads, words of wisdom that's going to change your life and make you a better person, by all means, that's fine for you. But you have to get to the point and have the wisdom and the insight and the discernment to be able to see through it all and kind of really differentiate what part was added. And kind of differentiate what part was added, what part was tampered with, what part did man come in and start
Right.
changing
The resonance.
things,
Does it resonate?
Does it resonate?
Does it not resonate?
which is spirit.
Exactly. That's where I was taking this. That's leading you straight to source. That source is within each of us. If you want to keep it on religion, the Bible says He blew His breath into us. That's Him putting a piece of Him into us. Therefore, we are God.
Absolutely. In the truest, purest sense.
So-
Not from the ego perspective.
No,
because
not
those
at
with
all.
ego, they don't understand that. They call it blasphemy and you're the devil and no, that's not what that means.
I can remember the first time that I heard Wayne Dyer say it years ago, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe he just said that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it closed because of my indoctrination. But now looking back and listening to that video, because I have gained knowledge, I've become more spiritual aware, that more resonates with me now. And it doesn't come across as, oh, he's going to burn for saying something like that.
Right.
So I'm out of that religious mindset. And to be honest with you, I have such a deeper appreciation for life in all forms. Love. I experience love on a daily basis. I express that love on a daily basis in so many more ways than I did as a religious person.
Right, right.
And that's what I wish everyone to experience is life without
Religion.
Well, I say religion, but just be more aware of the spiritual side, the oneness of everything.
That's true, yeah. Do it for the right reason. If you're into
Exactly.
religion,
It
by all means,
frees
if
you.
it makes you better a person, by all means do that. Find your spiritual self, but realize that you're bigger than religion.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which takes us to the spiritual side. Now, all these near-death experiences that we get back from the other side, they all say that there are no religions on the other side. There is
Religion
no
doesn't
religion.
matter to God.
So
to
if
source.
religion doesn't matter on the other side, then should it matter on this side? I mean, really, really think about it. Because if religion divides, if religion is the cause of many, many, many wars and loss of life throughout history, and it doesn't unite. In fact, like I said earlier, it divides people, families, nations.
Oh yeah, I mean, think about I immediately go to the J-Dub mindset about religion dividing families, because J-Dubs excommunicate their own family.
They're at the top of the list for
Because they're
local
not
families, from what I understand statistically.
agreeing with the doctrine of the J-Dubs.
Yeah,
Family
them and the
should be
Catholics
family.
are close hand in hand. Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are kind of more the mafia-based religions where you do what we say or we kick you out.
Exactly, and then you have to endure the pain of going to these meetings without speaking to anyone.
And
What
looking
that
at you like you
does
got
to
the
the
plague.
spirit. I mean, what that really does to your spirit, your core.
Yeah,
That is so sad.
we're all on individual paths. Keep that in mind, regardless of what road or what group someone belongs to or chooses to be a part of. That's your choice. If it brings you to a higher place, by all means, do it.
Yes.
Keep doing it. But the true religion is love. Okay, and love is spiritual. Okay, love is not a religion. All right, in the truest sense. But we say that when you compare it to all the religions in the world. Let's say if you've got the religions of Catholics, Catholicism, the Baptists, the Jehovah's Witnesses, the Mormons, the Protestants, all of these groups that we'd mentioned earlier. Okay, I'm going to put them in one hand, and in my other hand, I'm going to put the religion of love. Okay, love itself, within this context, okay, it's not really, it's not a religion at all. But compared to all of the religions that man's ever came up with, if you are doing it for love, if you're doing it for the right reason, then you're on the right path. Okay, then that's your walk. That's what you're doing. However, love itself is spiritual. Love is the source. Love is God. Love is the mind. Love is the all. Love is the energy. Love is a word that we use to describe the all.
Right, which
That
is
source.
spirit.
Which is spirit or
Spirituality.
spiritual or spirituality.
Right,
see?
and it's enlightening, it's uplifting, it brings you to a whole other state of mind and being than what religion does. And it's such a more positive vibe than what religion carries.
Absolutely.
It has been for me, and it's different for every person, I'm sure. But for me, it is more positive, more uplifting, more united than religion.
And then that's the difference that makes the difference. When you're talking about spirituality and religion, what's the difference between the two, one versus the other? Well, the main difference that makes the difference is spirituality, for the most part, unites.
Yes.
It's a oneness. When you are connected with another soul on a spiritual level. There's just a resonance. There's a harmony. There's a peace. Okay.
The oneness with creation itself.
With creation
the
itself,
spiritual
the life
that's
you live,
out
the things
there.
you're around, the people you're around. I mean, it's a whole different experience. Whereas religion, on the other hand, pretty much divides.
Right.
Now you can use religion, as different roads to get to that source, but ultimately
Yes.
you're going to have to find the God within, which
Yes.
is that spiritual side of you that's calling and
Source.
that's reaching out.
Source
that's
energy,
the
spirit.
spirit in you.
Yes. And that's the beauty in all of it, is the oneness, that united love that overwhelms every one of these people who have had these near-death experiences.
Yeah, love on a level that you would understand and comprehend. Someone like Jesus, the love that he had would be the love that these people are coming back and telling us that is on the other side. That love
Right.
of what we would call the love of God,
Exactly.
the love that we all long for. So yes, they all come back and say, hey, yeah, that's all there is. There is no religion.
No, there's not. And that's for me, that is beauty. That takes away the veil, the fear of what's to come in the afterlife. And that's what keeps us in lower vibrations and in submission to religion, is that fear.
Right. And when you're heavily indoctrinated, when your indoctrination is being challenged, you will feel very uncomfortable when certain ideas are brought to your attention, or brought into your mind, especially if it goes against the thread of your indoctrination or your belief system. Anytime somebody comes up with something that's against your belief system, you're going to have some kind of really uncomfortable feeling inside, almost like, okay, so keep in mind, keep that uncomfortableness under control, and realize that all are here experiencing life in different means. It doesn't mean that one person has the answer. The truth is, every single one of you out there, every human on the earth has, that personal connection to Source, because we all are Source. You do not have to go through a church or a religion to get to Source. In fact, you're putting something in between you and Source, if that makes any sense. Okay.
Exactly.
God is within you. You don't have to go anywhere, dude. Like like Jesus said, go into your closet and pray. Okay, that's just you. Okay, so the God is within and without. It's above, it's below, it's everywhere. All is God, all is Source, all is love.
Yes.
It's whatever word we want to give it, it still exists, and we are all a part of that.
Exactly. And it brings me to the point in this book that I've been reading, We Are Deathless, or You Are Deathless is the name of it. And it ties in with what we're talking about right now. I would like to read this part that I have highlighted.
Sure.
It says, everyone existed in this state of oneness and peace beyond the body before we came here. Yet very few of us can remember being there. When someone who retains a memory of it tells us about it, we usually doubt the account. The influences of family, culture, religion, unresolved trauma, our patterns, and cherished identities, all of these can get in the way of remembrance. I call this spiritual amnesia. If you're a human, you most likely suffer from it. It happens when you forget who you truly are. God taking a walkabout in a physical body. You and I both are infinite, powerful, limitless, radiant, glorious, and eternal. If it doesn't seem that way to you, then you're just suffering from a case of spiritual amnesia. Piled with layers of other people's crud, you can no longer see yourself clearly because you've normalized it. Forgetting seems like reality. Waking up from this forgetfulness is the main task we all face. Even now, I'm telling you that the aim of the game here is to remember who we are as spirit while living a physical life. And on the other side of healing comes remembrance. By this, I don't mean you remember your past experiences. No, I'm talking about remembering the nature of who you really are. Your oneness with all of life becomes more and more available to you. That's what I mean when I say you are deathless. You are life itself. Nothing can ever break or harm the real you. And you don't have to die like Miss Nicole did in order to remember it. And so many of these experiencers come back stating this very exact same thing. So we have to get back to that spiritual remembrance of who we really are. And it reminds me of the Remember book that I read. This tied it in so well for me. And what are your thoughts on the passages that I just read?
Oh, yeah. Actually, as a couple of them really sticks out. I really like the expression that we all are God taking a walk in a physical body.
The avatar, the machine.
I love that. I've even said that about animals before, and cats. I was explaining it to someone that we are that source expressing itself through us, and that's God expressing itself in the form of a cat.
or a dog, or a bird, or
yeah.
insect, or tree, plant, whatever, stars, moon.
Yeah, I mean, it says that we are God. You are God, but because we're under so much of other people's, like I said, that crud.
Yes.
That we forget that we are spiritual beings living in a physical body, experiencing a physical life. That you are life itself.
Exactly.
You
Nothing can
hurt.
hurt or harm us
Right.
because our spirit, which is what we're talking about, spirituality, is what lives on.
Right.
This physical, it's going to deteriorate and move on, but
It will.
our being cannot be hurt because that is us.
Right.
So.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Most definitely.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up, but it was really awesome. Yeah. Any final, words, Daphne, on that? I mean,
Search within.
Yeah.
Listen to what your spirit, your being tells you about who you are.
yeah. And even, may I ask, who are you?
Exactly.
Love you guys. May peace be with you all. Till next time.
Y'all let your light shine.
For more information about the NDE World Podcast, visit nde.world. That's nde.world.